No introduction necessary. Let's get into the reaction.
Okay, enough from us. Here's what you've been waiting so patiently for. It's the trailer for the Batman.
Oh my god, this is it! This is it! This is it! Waited over a year for this thing.
Police! Hands up! Stay still! Get out of here!
Is that the Riddler? It looked like Paul Dano. I knew it! I knew it was the Riddler. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Fear is a tool. But when that light hits the sky, it's not just a call. It's a warning. I've been trying to reach you. Find the gun! This is a powder keg, and Riddler's the match.
I can take care of myself.
If this continues, it won't be long before you've nothing left. I don't care what happens to me.
It's only gonna get worse for you.
It's like a club scene in The Dark Knight.
Sweetheart. Hear everything they say, ain't you?
Maybe we're not so different.
Oh, I love that shot. Oh!
Are you under there?
Dark Knight Rises like?
I'm vengeance. It's black and blue and dead all over. You dick.
I got you! I got you!
Not quite. Oh, wow. Holy crap, that looks amazing. Oh man, I'm gonna try really hard not to lose my nerve here. Whew. Okay, on to my thoughts. I've got some things to say here. I love the way this movie looks. Waited over a year for another trailer. The first one, as you know, was released last year during the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, and I did a reaction of it at the time with a full beard. I'm gonna try to see if I can grow that at some point in the near future. No promises. Sorry, Mom. She likes me with the beard. That's a whole random thing. I don't know why I went into it. I just remember when I recorded it and how I looked at the time when I did it. We got more of a somewhat in-depth look of how this world is in terms of the Batman and how Matt Reeves is interpreting it. I love the vibe that he's giving off here. It's almost like they took the tone of the Arkham games and adapted it into live action and melded it together with the Nolan trilogy. Because there are a few shots where it does remind me of The Dark Knight, or at least Batman Begins or Dark Knight Rises. And there's a couple of moments that I couldn't help but wonder, is that a callback? Like this shot, when Batman is fighting this guy on a walkway, or this shot when Batman is taking all these live rounds to the stomach or to the chest. It's like he's the Terminator or something. The thing that struck me from what we see of Robert Pattinson's portrayal, this Batman seems a lot more angrier and a lot more visceral and vicious, even more so than what we saw in the previous iterations of Batman, even more so than Christian Bale. Now, Christian Bale's portrayal was a different way of looking at Batman, so I'm not trying to compare and contrast, but at this point, as far as I could tell with the portrayal of Batman here, he hasn't been Batman for that long. It's probably only like maybe 2 or 3 years, similar to the Batman Arkham Origins game where he's only been Batman for about 1.5 years at that point. I was streaming the DC Fandom coverage, and there was a sit-down with Pattinson, Reeves, and Zoe Kravitz, and Robert Pattinson said that he hasn't really defined what Batman is to not only to the people of Gotham, but to himself, Bruce Wayne, which I think is perfectly conveyed in moments like this.
If this continues, it won't be long before you've nothing left.
I
don't care what happens to me.
Just like in Batman Begins, you're getting lost inside this monster of yours. I'm using this monster to help other people, just like my father did. Or even this moment when he talks to Riddler through the talking glass. I don't know exactly what he was saying, but I can pretty much guarantee that he wanted to rip the guy's throat out. And I like that they're not showing us what Paul Dano, or is it Paul Dano or Dano? I'm gonna go with Paul Dano. Tomato, tomato. I don't know. I like that they're not showing what he looks like as the Riddler. We see a glimpse of what he looks like in his costume, similar to the Joker in The Dark Knight when he was filming himself on camera for the people of Gotham. And when it comes to the Riddler, us fans of Batman have seen some great interpretations and some that have been lackluster at best. I like Jim Carrey as an actor, and I think he fit the tone of that movie that they were trying to go for. But let's be honest, that's not an ideal portrayal of the Riddler. He has his moments, though. Caffeine'll kill ya! There's obviously the animated series version of the Riddler, and probably the one I think about. I know it's a video game, and I'm not the most knowledgeable when it comes to Batman mythos, if you know what I mean. But it's the Riddler from the Arkham games. If Paul Dano's portrayal could be at least close to that, that's enough for me. And from what we see in this trailer, it does look like he's throwing breadcrumbs towards the Gotham Police Department and the Batman, where he says, this is all a game and Riddler's the match. Finally get a look at Andy Serkis as Alfred. He wouldn't have been my first choice as Alfred, but hey, I'm more than happy to be proven wrong, at least so far. It's only a trailer, I know. I also really like the look of Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. I think she's got that very alluring and sexy quality to her. Some people will argue that Anne Hathaway doesn't really have that in The Dark Knight Rises. Again, not to compare and contrast, but I think in a lot of ways, she did, for that tone that Nolan was going for. This feels more inspired by the comic books. Neither portrayal is wrong, it's just a different way of looking at the character. And from what I've seen of this tone, I think it's a perfect fit. Catwoman is known for helping those who don't really have much, and that's what draws Batman to her, and I think that this could have the potential to show more close look of what that relationship looks like between the two, because she is a big love interest of Batman in the comics. I love this shot of Batman looking over Gotham City as the sun's coming up, or is it going down? I don't know. Either way, it's a beautiful classic Batman image. Oh man, I ate it up. If you couldn't tell by my reaction. Colin Farrell as the Penguin? That's just perfect. And if I didn't know that was Colin Farrell, I wouldn't have known who that was. Channeling in a way Robert De Niro with that New York/Jersey accent. The Batmobile looks more like a muscle car this time around instead of the big tank that we saw with the Tumbler or the classic looking Batmobile that we saw in the Tim Burton movies. This Batman looks like he's more on his own as opposed to having the backing of Wayne Enterprises and Lucius Fox. Is Lucius Fox in this movie? Not as far as I know. I checked the cast list, he's not in there. If he hasn't shown up yet, odds are that he will be in the sequels that they have planned. And how does the Penguin fit into the Riddler plot of this movie? I'm not really sure, but I'm guessing he might have something to do with it, or he's just there to screw up Batman's plans regardless. Either way, I think it's a cool combination. We have yet to see really good portrayals of those two characters because like the Riddler, we had Danny DeVito's The Penguin in Batman Returns. Not a fan of that one. Sorry. No. Also, this moment when Batman uses that electrical charge on that guy's ear, not to be mean to the previous actors, he makes Christian Bale, Michael Keaton, even Ben Affleck look like they were doing child's play in comparison. They were tough in their own ways, but Robert Pattinson, man. A lot of people said that he was miscast from day one. I don't think people are saying that now. From what we've seen, he is more than capable of being the Batman. If some people out there still use the Twilight movies as an excuse for why he's not a right fit for Batman, he's proven himself since those movies. He's moved far away from that shadow.
If you can't spot his talent, I can't help you. Just go to sports bars, listen more, talk less, and we'll all be good.
Great trailer, doesn't really tell us much more about the plot. It gives us just enough of an idea of where it's going, and it leaves it at that. The only downside, though, is when we hear him say again, I'm vengeance. I was hoping that he would say, I am the knight. That they would have like a traditional trailer thing where in the first one he says, I'm vengeance. And in this one he would say, I am the knight. And in the next trailer he would say, I am Batman. Just like in the animated series. I think that would have been so perfect had they had him do that. But I guess we'll never get that. Either way, I'm still going to see the movie. So those are my thoughts on The Batman. Really excited for this movie. I haven't been this excited for a movie in quite a long time. Probably since Avengers Endgame. After this past year and a half, this excitement is more than warranted. Those are my thoughts. Thank you guys for watching. Comment below and tell me what your thoughts are on this trailer. Are you excited for the movie? Are you not? Either way, feel free to let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next video.